Next question comes from Sean Curran. And it's in response to my SQ2 doesn't work, just getting an MPC. And Sean writes, here are a number of other videos on YouTube with similar experience you are describing. Solution was to replace the motherboard, which is a bit drastic, but in some instances, yes, the motherboards can become beyond serviceable repair. Search Ensoniq SQ2 problem. Rafael Santana and help need for Ensoniq SQ2 SQ1 Plus, Ivan Walker. Now, one thing I should say at this point is that those that don't know, the SQ2 was an evolution of the SQ1, and you could actually upgrade the SQ1 to be an SQ2 called the SQ1 Plus. Okay, just to bear that in mind. It was a bit of a funny tactic, but it was, I suppose, from Ensoniq's perspective, they were trying to keep the musician user population happy. Especially those who bought SQ1s and then found the SQ2 came out relatively quickly thereafter. So what Sean says, make sure you purchase main boards that are marked SQ2 next to the battery. No clue what happens if you put an SQ1 or an SQ1 motherboard, since the number of keys is different. Now I don't know whether that was... So the SQ1 functionality, the upgrade of the SQ1 functionality gave it SQ2 functionality, but it was a slightly smaller keyboard. Didn't realise that. ROM 3 is located on the bottom left of the main board. It is marked as a 1350 90 12 01 9201 RK014 Ensoniq 91. That's a mouthful. Try saying that when you've had a few sherbets. Can't find any information on this chip or what it does. It appears on both the SQ1 and SQ2 boards, but is missing from the SQ1 board. Following the troubleshooting steps in the service manual, some paths lead to replace motherboard. That is never a great statement, replace motherboard, which helped the YouTuber referenced above. SQ2's battery is soldered in coin battery. Why did they do that? And I hope those, and right for replacement with the coin cell battery holder. John, get ready to make that video. I may well do actually. The SQ2 does need a lot of love and attention. And the reason I looked over there, because I thought it might be against the wall over there, and it's not. I must have taken it back to storage. Before throwing in the towel. Follow the service manual. Post battery replace, you need to perform the following hard reset. Initialize the SQ1 SQ2. Press edit sequences and presets. Press and hold system and bank 9. Press screen 9. Release both buttons. Display. Reinitialize all RAM and press yes. The all RAM will be replaced with the internal ROM sounds. So if you've made any changes to the internal ROM sounds, guess what? They've all gone boom. So hopefully you backed it up using SysX before you did this. And all I can say about that set of comments is, here is somebody who knows about the Ensoniq SQ1/2, and I'll be coming to Sean to get some input when I start work on the SQ2. The first thing what will happen is I will put a caddy in place and get rid of the solder tank battery, because I think solder tank batteries are just an utter pain in the rump. You know, especially as the fact you have to remove the motherboard out to desolder the damn thing. Whereas if you put a battery holder and a coin cell in, a standard coin cell in there, you know, replacing the battery is very quick. Open the lid, pop it out, put a new one in. Oh well, c'est la vie. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. This next one comes from XP50 Player in response to an SMR I did called Just Two Questions, done, recorded and released in June 2018. Oh god, that's 4 years ago. XP50 writes, the horsepower hadn't really changed throughout the KRONOS history. The addressable RAM and polyphony are capped by the OS and have remained pretty consistent. My 2011 KRONOS just needed an extra stick of RAM to bring it into spec with later versions. Don't need an extra bigger SSD, as the 30 gig holds more than I can load at any time. I'm wondering what are looking for possible DX engine for the KRONOS that the Mod 7 engine doesn't cover, like skeuomorphic interface or something. I would like to see the Mod Wave and WaveState engines added to a future workstation. Companies don't like to feature each other's legacy products, although Korg was sufficiently in bed with Yamaha that the Mod 7 engine makes sense. Don't anticipate a D50 engine by Korg. Oh, why not? Why can't we have a D50 engine? Possibly for the Phantom of Jupiter. Roland has been on porting frenzy lately with the JD800 and voice designer from the V-Synth engines for the Jupiter. I don't think this is in response to Just Two Questions. I think this is in response to Dear Korg, which was a video I did in November or December 2021. I think I've written that down wrong. Purely because some of the things that XP50 has addressed here are things that were in that particular video. So the Korg KRONOS 2 has a different processor and motherboard to the KRONOS 1, and the jury is out on whether the 2 has slightly more processing power than the 1. Some people say it does, some people say it doesn't. The bottom line is, if you look at the specs of the 2 to the 1, the processor technically does have more processing power, but the motherboard kind of restricts it, so the jury's kind of out on it. The 1 has a dual core processor thread running at 166 GHz, and the 2 has a dual core processor thread running at 186 GHz. So that's what I'm saying. And the motherboards have slightly different architectures. You can make your own assessments from that. In terms of the DX7 engine, yes, the Mod 7 can produce FM-like synthesis, but what I think I was looking for was an interface that was a cross between a Phantom plug-out and the D-Tronics DT7. An interface that could more be tuned to the synth setup, or setting up the original style synth. That's kind of, I think, where I was getting for. So the interface became far more aligned to the synth it was trying to emulate, rather than Mod 7, which is kind of get into FM synthesis mode and play around.